Okay, welcome back. So now let's launch the simulation. So remember that you have here this automatic script, and these are the steps that is going to do. Okay, so just digest here so you know what is happening here. Just go documentation, you will see what is happening, or remember that you have FOAM and info, and like I always say, abuse this one because can give you a lot of information of what is going on now. So it's just searching the source codes and will let you know what is happening. Okay, I need to YF17. Okay, so go there and there. It's just telling you. So basically every keyword that you have in OpenFOAM, I know it will access the source code. No, it's like a glorified grep or search that you have for OpenFOAM. That's all. So if you don't know anything from info or the name minus head, or go to the source code. So at this point, let me run. So to run, remember to load OpenFOAM in the run directory. It should be this one. Or probably, yeah, I already have it there. It's this one. Close there. YF13. And sh run all, and there you go, doing mesh conversion, check mesh. Let's see that actually the quality of the mesh, it is a good one, probably a few cells, no orthogonality more than 75 or 70. This is okay, not a big of a deal. Decomposing area, 8 cores, some warning there, not a big deal. And at this point, off you go. So see, running perfectly, computing all your quantities, using this specific solver. I don't like this smooth solver, but feel free to change solver. So actually, I think the keywords, I enable the keywords, is all different solvers. So let me go system, steady, so CPC stat. So you can change to this one. It's up to you. Do your own benchmarking. No, but I think in this case, nothing changed. No, it's small case, but large cases can make a difference. So I will let it run. Let me open another window because I have a few monitors, and before letting it running, see that we have this script. This is a script to plot forces on the fly using nuplot. So you have it there. After 100 seconds, it will start to plot. So let's do that. Okay, so first I will Anaconda tree. I will tell you why, because I have Python plot washer. So it's a tool that is going to print the residuals. So this is the output file, and to mention that when I launch the solver here, I am redirecting everything to this file. So this is the log file. Now the output of OpenFOAM, you can save it in a file, and if you have problems, I likely that I will ask you for that. And this is your output. So these are your residuals. This is the continuity errors. And then let me plot also new plot scripts, and it was all, yeah. So this will plot all the coefficients. And there you go. So here you will see what happens with the forces and so on. So let me make it a little bit bigger, and let me shift it. Let me shift here, then let me move it here, put it here, your residuals, and so on. So many people, just to mention something about residuals, when I look at the residuals, they will say, for instance, in this case, what is also important to mention, if I go SB solutions, you can also define your actual residual. You can put a residual control here. If you put a residual control, you put it, for instance, 10 to the minus 3, when you reach this residual, actually see that it will stop here immediately. You put 10 to the minus 4, it will keep running, but it's not say that when you reach that value, you have reached convergence. So look at that, if you put 10 to the minus 3, 50 iterations, your forces are still oscillating. You haven't arrived to, let's say, a steady state. This is why these monitors can be very misleading. They are telling you something, but they are not telling you that the forces or on other quantities of interest are being, they are converged, they are stable, or they have reached a periodic behavior. Okay, and actually this case also 10 to the minus 4 tends to be a small, I think it is a small value. And even if you put 10 to the minus 4, it will reach that value and it will stop, and still your forces, they are still oscillating. So that's why in this case I disabled that. But if you want here, and actually you have here, give early convergence. So if you put here minus 5, it will run up to the 4,000 iterations. So if you enable that, it will stop whatever you reach first. Or if you reach this, or if you reach the 4,000 iterations that you define knowing your control date here, or whatever value you put there. So this is what is happening, and what you are plotting here, see that you reach now 10 to the minus 4. So if you enable that, it will have a stop here in 500, and see that in 500 you still are oscillating. Look at continuity, that the cumulative now is the summation of all the global. It's becoming high, global probably it's low, but see that you have this problem with steady solvers tends to violate some physical principles. Time, we have time is goal, and time physical goes forward. Here you are eliminating that, and that's why. But if you adjust your own relaxation factors, you can minimize these errors introduced by the steady. Also the local time stepping will add something like that. So perfect, it's running perfect. To mention that here you are running, and what the OpenFOAM is reporting here is initial residuals. Okay, initial residuals. I want to stress that, reporting initial final, and what you are plotting here are the initial residuals. And if you want to monitor these residuals, you always plot the initial residuals. Why? Because you know that the linear solver, when you crunch numbers, and we're going to talk about that in the final volume lectures now with this CFD cookie, your linear solvers, they are always going to reach this tolerance. So if you go back to SD solution, you will see this tolerance in these many iterations. Okay, so you look at the initial residuals. So when you run a steady simulation and you see that you are not reducing your residuals monotonic way, that means that the difference between iteration, let's say 500 and 499, is too much. So this will go up, and that it is a clear indication that your problem, it is strongly unsteady. So it might be better to switch to a fully unsteady solver. Or probably if you want to stick with a steady or local time stepping that we're going to see next, you need to reduce on the relaxation. And at that point, when you start to reduce on the relaxation, you are not gaining any, you are not improving your iterative convergence. So you are getting not to the same level of on a steady solver. No, it will take the same time. So you don't have any computational efficiency. So it's better to switch to that. Okay, so using on the relaxation of, I don't have SPD solutions here, you will have it here. Using on the relaxation of 0.201 is too low. It will be kind of running on a steady, so switch to that. But in this case, we're going to reach a steady solution, or what we think it is on a steady solution, and we're going to judge that not by looking at this, because this is not telling you that, just by looking at this. When these monitors stop oscillating or reach something steady or something periodic, we might say, okay, this might be an steady solution. I will stop my simulation there, or you let it run. It's up to you. Okay, so always remember to monitor, as I say, take a look at your residuals. Okay, but these are not your final indication of a converged solution. You need to monitor a quantity of interest, so it can be mass flow, whatever, or forces, that most of the time is a good quantity. So monitor everything, and let me put it here. And at this point, I will stop talking because I have talked too much. Let's wait until we get the solution. So see you later. Okay, at this point we reach 4,000 iterations, and if you look at the monitors here, you see that they are going down in a monotonic way, kind of meaning that, okay, you're reaching maybe a converged solution. Many people, when I look at this in steady solvers, they say, okay, I reached that steady solution and I can stop. And we already mentioned that probably if you put a monitor and you reach 1000, you stop here. When you look at here at the monitor of the forces, you see that you haven't reached that state. So be very careful about these monitors. And actually look at that, we run up to 4000 and we reach a quite low value and still the forces are oscillation. So always, the main takeaway of this is that always monitor control residuals, but also monitor forces or integral quantities, that they are a better indicator of forces. So let's say that in this case, 4000 iterations, we can take it from granted. Maybe there is some unsteadiness there by looking at the forces, but kind of they're oscillating around same values. Doesn't matter, later we're going to run using local time step and unsteady, we're going to look at the differences. But for this solution, everything seems okay. So monitors going down in a monotonic way, that is not a direct indication of convergence or gut solution. We have here our continuity residuals, as I mentioned, they should be low, but steady solvers, we kind of violate some physical principles, so they can go up. Now, but while they don't go crazy values, there is not a big of a deal. Your forces, they were oscillating, telling you that there is some steadiness, then everything was smoothing out, and then here probably you have reached that periodic behavior. And if you look at your screen here, you can see now minimum and maximum values. So see that pressure, it is well contained. There is not reaching those crazy values. Temperature is going down, but it's not reaching the value. I think it was 100, the minimum value. Also the top value, look at that, everything is well contained. Rod density and velocity, okay, values, everything contained within your the physical values. Then your pressure, you have the coefficient, you get this value. Remember that you need to correct the coefficients at the actually let me go F control. I put it there just because I need it to plus the coefficient, but you need to put it leave, drag everything perpendicular, parallel to the incoming forces, give the right values and so on. So be very careful about that. I could have used forces now, but I put coefficient, it doesn't matter. So at this point we have a solution, see that everything runs smooth. Now you have here your setup for external aerodynamics, let's say aircraft, because cars probably something will change. You have the ground, probably rotating wheels, and you need to add different boundary conditions, but you have a good starting point. So at this point, let's say, let me go here, here. Well, okay, so if you want to compute Mach number, which and Q criterion outside of the control D, because here we were running on the fly. Now it was running and computing everything. Those function objects are there. But if you forget to do that, well, remember that always you can compute that like this. And actually this is run, so full should be phone, run, post-process. So I will update this in the dictionaries actually. And just to mention that you should put there phone, run, phone, post-process should be like this. Okay, and you put it here. Okay, and it should work. Okay, so I will update this one before after finishing this one. So at this point we have the case, and let's do paraphone. Okay, paraphone built-in. Remember that built-in adduction will let you access the data in parallel, or you can reconstruct it, or you can convert it to inside of. So up to you. So decompose case. Access, well, actually you have also access to, I saved the last 4 time steps, so you can do kind of animation as you want. And there you go, your Mach number, everything makes sense. But from the previous videos, post-processing, that we use a lot Q criterion. Let's put and let's see what we have. Let's see if it makes sense. And there you go, your vortex there, I color by Mach number, perfect. So since makes sense, and to give a touch of class there. So search, let me go search the smooth. Remember the smooth filter, and you can increase here, and there you go. You can smooth not that vortex to see since that vortex core to see since nice. There you go. So we run the simulation from scratch. Okay, now you can link everything with the post-processing. So probably you were wondering, okay, from where those results were coming. There you go. You have all the case set up. So we have done now. We just finished a steady. Next video, let's move to the unsteady. I will leave this one to the last one because there are some things now. Better to cover this one because local time stepping kind of an hybrid of this, and then we go BL. Now it will be viscous formulation. Remember, all these three are in visit. So that's all for this video. Thank you for your attention. See you next time. Bye.